those filthy pornographic books. So we got together and we got that person out, and that school cannot, and personally wrote an apology letter to us as well.
Good.
So now, if we can do that, we can all do
spread that message.
But you know what? One thing, I've been trying to say this for a long time before lockdown. I've been telling everybody, you know, there's an agenda that's coming, and it's going to affect both of us, Muslims and Christians. I don't know if Kay remembers this yet, but I've been saying this for a long time. We need to band together and unite. Forget our differences, because this common enemy is going to affect both of us.
I don't know. I will.
It's just a light
Pick a topic. Pick a topic. The LGBTQ agenda, for example.
No, we won't. Just
okay.
talk about it.
Yeah. Go. Action. Well, good to see you, Mr. Brown, after a long time.
Yeah, no, I ain't seen him for a while.
Hold on, so you can go back and forth.
Yeah.
I can film you.
No, because it's the wrong way around. That's all right. They know the side of my head. Look, no, it's looking at you. That's all right. I'm
Cool.
sorry about the back of my head.
Today we've got a bit of a crowd going on.
Yeah, I'm going to tell them.
Who are they?
Okay, so
You're in the shot, aren't we?
so much shouted action. Thank you. Right, so yonder, as we say in Shakespeare's England, over that way. Oh, they've all gone. They've dispersed. No, because the old bit. I'm going to. Well, Posey, Kelly J. Keane, or Posey Parker, was over there giving a speech. I feel like it was Let Women Speak. Something like that was the name of her video, so you can have a look at that. We've got a charming new addition to the park, which is like an 18 van with a big giant CCTV camera pointed that way. The police were running about information. It's embarrassing if you're not English. It's embarrassing if you are English, but just like jogging around like they know what they're doing. And on horseback as well. And basically there were troublemakers over there. And I know this, not just by assumption, but because Mr. Brown was just telling me this before the camera started rolling. So do you want to just let us know what happened?
Yeah, so I came here around 1 o'clock and I saw the big crowd over there. I went to investigate what's going on, found out it was the LGBT community. I kept a distance because I know how violent they get. And then before you know it, I was surrounded by them. They were screaming, shouting. I got myself out of that circle enclosure. Then they're surrounding me again.
Were you speaking at the time?
No, I didn't say nothing. I was just filming. Quiet as a mouse.
Well, that's
just filming.
Yeah.
Then before you know it, again they're surrounding me. Then some big fat hippopotamus. Didn't know what it was.
Identified as a hippo, maybe.
Identified as a hippo. I am Messiah.
Shush now. Go and have your meds.
Come on, man. I am Messiah.
I'm a liar. I ain't even made a claim.
I am Messiah. I would not let these people get away with anything. Even if they swear at you, press charges. Why? Because we need to build a profile of these people. We can't let them get away with little warnings here and there. We need to have a big profile.
They literally get.
Exactly. They get away with warnings, so much stuff. We can't let them because they're not normal people. They've got some sort of mental issue.
Well,
now
it's been taken out of the diagnostic, the DSM-5.
Yeah,
but that doesn't mean the suicide rates are just the same.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now what they're doing, they're targeting our children.
For sure.
Now my school last year, I remember, my son was sick. I took him. I went to collect him. Then all of a sudden, I see a transgender queer person coming out of the school. Now I could have done two things. My blood was boiling. I wanted to hit that thing, whatever it was. But I thought, you know what? If I hit it, it'll give him justice. It'll give him more.
We'll go with person.
Yeah, it'll give that dude that's dressed like a woman, that fairy tale character, right? Because they're all fairy tales, isn't it?
Points.
Yeah, it'll give them more. So I stood back. I let them carry on.
And
I went
back.
back.
What they were doing there?
Reading hour, 1 hour reading.
Oh, can I just stop you? They do I know in Brighton, which is a bit of a pink city, as it were, they had a drag queen story hour, which was basically, it was replicated from Canada, where I saw Dory Love, the Christian preacher, going at the back, and all the mothers were there, and their kids are on the cross-legged on the floor, and this dude is in a dress with the fake lashes and the bulge, like you can see if he's circumcised basically or not, and he's teaching the children about gender, and that's what they have in the more very left-wing boroughs of this country, maybe even the right-wing. I don't even know if it's relevant right and left now. But yeah, they're teaching children about gender, which, by the way, is a construct that was began by a guy called John Money and another guy, I can't remember his name. And prior to their thesis, gender was only a linguistic construct, like a male and female pronouns in, like French, for example. But one of them did studies on infant orgasms, if you're not too shy and you've had your dinner already. So basically they were deviant, like sexually deviant men. At least one of them was, I feel like he was convicted. And these are the people who came with the gender. I mean, the thing that now gender theory is based on, critical gender theory, harks back to that. And all critical theory nowadays harks back to Marxism anyway. But these two, if you think that was the 60s, it's only 60 short years ago, and already there's like literally it can be an offence to ask whether the person teaching your like 3-year-old child had a penis when they were born. Sorry, I've gone off the topic, but I haven't. But I just want to get off that for a second. But yeah, these are the people who Posey speaks against, and these are the people who assaulted her in New Zealand. She was arrested in this country. Get on this, she was questioned by the police under caution because she put a sign up that had a printout of the dictionary definition. It says woman, in brackets N for noun, adult, human, female. And for that, she, a transgender GP, I think, took her to, like, tried to take umbrage with it and got her arrested, but I don't think they brought charges. She was also accused of sexualising her own child, like teaching them to see if there's genitals and, you know, maybe an Adam's apple. But she was just a housewife, literally, and now she's getting beat up internationally just for saying, this is what I don't understand, yeah. Like 2-3 weeks ago, there was a guy screaming, Jesus is a pig, da da da. And I'm saying to the Muslims, hang on a minute, I thought you loved it. How come you ain't having a go? And when she's getting done by these, not men in black, we're going to call them men in drag, I feel like Muslims could do a little teensy bit more. I know it's all like a kind of you problem, maybe from a Muslim perspective, but like you say, your kids are going to a school where these people are getting, even if the head teacher is not down with this nonsense, the local authority will be, or they're too scared to not be. And it's either homeschooling, which is long for everyone, believe me, or, you know what I mean, like when those Muslims banded together, I feel like it might have been a gay something or other. I can't remember. It's an LGBT-related incident. They got it stopped. And I remember at the time thinking, I don't think that would have worked if it was a load of like Baptist ministers at the school. But you've got to play to your strengths. So if Muslims can have that kind of impact, like, why aren't they? Or are they? And I've just missed the memo.
This thing here is a satanic agenda, unfortunately. And
don't worry, when the trumpet goes.
What my main point is here, so in our school, after that happened, we protested. Now that person doesn't come here no more because they found a majority of the people that's in the school.
Capacity, like a work capacity.
No, so most of the people that go to my son's school are Asian, whether they're Muslim or not. It doesn't matter, but they're Asian, so they couldn't get away with it.
But I'm asking you, it wasn't a parent, was it? It was like something to do with the school, or they were going in to try and give the school advice on LGBT twaddle or something.
They were there to advise and to read the books for them, those filthy pornographic books. So we got together and we got that person out, and that school cannot, and personally wrote an apology letter to us as well.
Good.
So now, if we can do that, we can all do that.
Spread that message.
But you know what? One thing, I've been trying to say this for a long time before the lockdown. I've been telling everybody, you know, there's an agenda that's coming, and it's going to affect both of us, Muslims and Christians. I don't know if Kay remembers this yet, but I've been saying this for a long time. We need to band together and unite. Forget our differences, because this common enemy is going to affect both of us. Stalin said, forget the king, the crown, the money. I don't want any of it. Give me your children. If you have the children, it's the next generation.
Yeah,
for sure, you will take over.
Somehow before
they
that,
are targeting our children. It's, like they said, it's not a Middle Eastern problem. It's not an African problem. It's a Western problem.
The reason they've taken education,
everybody's here. Whether you're Muslim, Jew, Christian, doesn't matter where you're from. You are here, you're living here. It's our problem. This 1% fairy tale community,
fairy tale. You know how dark the fairy tales were before they were sanitized.
Yeah. But that's why I call them fairy tales, because they're just dressing up like fairy tales, right? This community is trying to brainwash our children,
And it's not only that community, it's the narrative that's filtered down from the government. The education system has gone for a hot minute it's been gone. Since I was a kid, it started incrementally coming in, not that way, but certain words weren't allowed. Like that, they were the genuine word. Like, for example, spastic. There was the Spastic Society. It wasn't a denigrative word other than it may be a playground or two. And as soon as you give credence and say no one's allowed to say it, it definitely then becomes an insult. And that kind of censorship, I was young. Like, it starts before that when they started talking about problem families and working class in this country anyway. They started labelling single parent households and making it more attractive to be a single parent, because if there's no father figure, you can nudge the kids way more easy if the dad isn't going to come around and just batter you. So I can't remember. Yeah, education. Once they get, I think it's Socrates. I can't remember. He said, "Show me a child to the age of 7, and I will show you the man." So basically, whatever you learn, I think it's been posited. 70% of what you'll ever learn in your life by the time you're 7, in terms of characteristics, traits, values, ways, modes of thinking and stuff like that. So if you, like he says, if they get the kids, they don't have to get no one else, because within 60 years we'll all be dead. Like, I don't know how old you are, but I know how old I am. I'm not saying it on the camera. I don't know how old he is, but I'm guessing we'll all be dead. Or, I mean, God bless Billy, I just saw him walk past. But at 90, I don't think I'm striding about here with a walking stick. I feel like maybe I'll be long gone. So, and the kids that grow up, my one hope, other than Jesus, is that people don't like to go along with their parents' generation. So I feel like if this mad generation that's coming have children, if they don't just grow them in a jar or I don't know what, but them kids are going to rebel against the LGBT nonsense. Like it'll become countercultural to be usual. I don't want to say normal, but I just did. So, I mean, they definitely. It's not something to overlook. It's not something where you can be looking at Christian persecution, for example, or any other that's my passion. But it's not something that you can think, well, it's a secondary issue, because it's really not. Because whether or not Satan gets you through, you're dying for Jesus, or you're dying because you're saying that's a man and there's testicles on display, it's still Satan. So, yeah.
They have even infiltrated the Church of England. The leader of the Church of England just recently said God is genderless. Yeah.
There was a conversation about.
Not just that. They've even infiltrated some of the churches. Now, if you go to churches, the steps that lead up to the church, they're all painted in the rainbow gay colour.
Do we want to do this? Because I'm going to tell you how Satan started this. No. But they did. The Church of England had gone a wonky bit. But what I want to tell you is, hold on.
This is something that we need to.
Excellent. But let me just clarify one thing. The church, eternal, is the body of Christ, is Christians. So even though there's some lamentable, weirdo decisions going on in every church because of their bowing to secular thingy, like pressures with their LGBT and their Black Panther, not Black Panther, what do you call it? Black Matters, yeah, that too, outside. It doesn't, so my salvation isn't affected, to be honest. Other people's is by the leadership of the church, because like I say, we, them,
you know the truth.
I do.
The next generation is going to be taught something else.
Not even. My nieces are now in uni, and they were taught that to say normal is hateful. And I said, you should have asked them, when did that become the norm?
This is what I've been trying to say. You know what? This thing here is not just a Western Christian problem. It's going to be a problem for everybody. It's a Muslim problem. It's going to be a Jewish problem. It's going to be everybody problem.
Anyone who's got
kids. Exactly, they're targeting all the kids to brainwash the kids into thinking that they are other than what they are.
Because they want them to dishonour their parents. They want them to basically have sex with adults. They want them to be sexualised.
They want to go back to the days of the old, the days of before Noah and the flood, the days of Sodom and Gomorrah. That's what they want.
We've gone past that long time ago, man. So, they weren't doing none of what we were doing.
No, exactly. But what they want to do, they want to make sure this time the children are brought up with this sort of mentality. Right now, the children are still innocent. They still know the difference between right and wrong. They know what they're teaching in school is wrong. But
I saw a headline on YouTube the other day. They've stopped sex education. Can't remember where, of what age group. But even that, there's an argument to be had that early sex education is a bit nonsense. But if you're withholding it, sorry, there's two kids looking at me while I'm saying. If you're withholding the sex education in order to hoodwink, in order to be able to get past the censors, as it were, so the children don't realise that you're sexualising them, then you just got to be aware. If you're a parent, It's not darkness around every corner, but what you need is a copy of the syllabus of what your child's learning. Things like PHSE, or I don't know what they call, like biology for a start. That would be interesting. I'd love to go back to biology and find out what nonsense they're giving out. But personal health and social care type classes, just find out what's on the syllabus, and if the LGBT QP3/4 subsection 2 thing is on there, and if it is, you keep better have a cold every week on a Thursday afternoon. I don't know what else to tell you. Just this. I mean, homeschooling is extreme and it's time consuming. It means you've got less time to work, but it will get to that stage. So.
Yeah, that's my only message. Look, we need to band together. We need to fight this. We need to fight this together. If I'm fighting alone, it's not going to work. I need you guys to fight as well. Forget the fact that you're.
I'll have a rap.
Exactly. We need to. Look, this is our religious thing. This is our cultural thing.
You know
this
that
is
over
our
there.
thing.
Sorry, you know that establishment over there. They have drag queen. Music every Sunday at least, but they come into the ladies' toilet, so there's not drag queen, because drag acts in the olden days, drag acts were men. Everyone knew they were men. They went in the men's toilets. But so it's transgender, yada yada. But we should go and catch a show one weekend.
Yeah, I know.
And do a little bit of heckling. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. Obviously, like Jesus is the truth. Hopefully, if you're watching this channel, you already know that. If you don't, have a look. What's the worst that can happen? Like, just have a look into that.
Tell your kids.
And honour it, like children, Jesus said, it is better to have a millstone tied around your neck and dropped into the ocean than hurt one child. So, obviously there's repentance. I'm not saying that sin is any worse really than any other sin, although it's more distasteful for us. But for God, all sin is sin. But children are innocent, it's assumed. And they can't defend themselves the way adults can. They haven't got the quick wit necessarily. They haven't got the muscle, I don't know. They haven't got the resources to protect themselves against sexual predators. I mean, adult women and men don't have on occasion. So it's something to, don't get paranoid, but just open your eyes and have a look, because it'll be too late. And like I say, we'll all be dead. And then it's like, we've got descendants to be thinking about, a lot of us. And if you haven't, I'm sure your sister has, or someone has got a child that you care about. So that's my take.
Yeah, same. I'll say the same what Kay said. We need to protect our children. We need to watch what they're doing. We need to know what the schools are doing. And every once in a while, what I like to do with my kids, I always like to ask them, what are you? What gender are you? They always throw at me, I'm a boy. I say, how are you a boy? Well, because I can stand up and pee and the girls can't. They can, but they'll make a mess of it.
I was about to say, that can't be the reason.
That's it.
Maybe kids, I let them off.
We have to protect, safeguard our children. In all seriousness, forget all this religious division we're having. Forget that. Put that aside for now. Right now, what affects us is the children.
You've just given me another point to end on. Wokeness, which incorporates all of this LGBT stuff, is a cult, and there is programming. There's indoctrination. I've got a video called the cult indoctrination of wokeness, or the cult of wokeness, something like that. Indoctrination. I'll put the link. JC will. The point is that all religions start technically as a cult, a small culture of people who believe one way or one truth or one, God, or one way observance of divinity, and then that becomes a mainstream religion in some cases. And they've got their own literature, which is all the gender critical, gender race critical. They've got all of that. They've got their religious body language with this business, and they're taking a knee and all of that. They've got say his name. They've got that. So they've got their little catchphrases, and for all their faults, the individuals who are sucked into that cult are not really aware of the twaddle. They literally say it to my face, silence is violence. I say, oh yeah. When did silence? Isn't silence silence? Is it violence violence? It's just glazed. They're like sheep, and they have to be deprogrammed. So if one of your family members maybe is like got a bit SJW, don't take it personally, because critical consciousness theory means they will see that problem that they've been indoctrinated everywhere. It's psychology, but they will see the problem everywhere, and you will be a part of the problem if you're not in their cult. So don't take it personally, and they need love and they need prayers. A little slap, maybe. I don't know how your family is, but like, try not to take it personal. Like, oh, I brought them up all these years and now they're a lunatic, because that's not helpful. We need to love them enough until they can love themselves and have a respect for themselves to not support nonsense and madness.
Exactly.
So on that happy note,
peace,
to Jesus,
one love, shalom, salam.
shalom. Aye,
Bye-bye.
aye. He's in.
Just we gotta unite. Come on, forget this.
On that platform, I will definitely. I don't mind who's behind me. I'll be there at the front. Anyway, subscribe, share, like, talk to people. Like, find out, even if you ain't got kids, have a look on the website of the school nearest to you. Like, just see what the curriculum is. See what they, with churches, you can look at their statement of beliefs. See if the school, I know they will have, because they're all proud of it. So have a little look, and next time there's a local election or a general, just see who supports that kind of nonsense and give it a swerve.
Exactly.
Whether, to be fair, because the mayor of this city, whether they're the same religion as you or not, is irrelevant. If they're supporting
Doesn't matter.
harm to children, they're not fit to be out in the open, let alone in office. So that's it. Lots of love. I've missed you all. Bye. Cut!